What you thought was victory, what you think is reality, and what was told to you was a lie. It did not happen. You thought you took the red pill, but it was the blue pill creating what you thought was the truth. But the truth is, you are still in the matrix. What if I told you that you only thought you took the red pill, but you really took the blue pill, and now you are in greater danger than the dream that you thought was reality? Could you accept that if it meant saving your own life or the lives of millions? They want you to think what you saw was the truth, but they know you are growing suspicious, and now they are coming for you. And this time I know what they will do. They will kill you. So now you must choose. Take the blue pill or continue to believe this beautiful dream with what you think is a beautiful ending, or you could take the red pill and know the truth, and find out how so much further the rabbit hole really goes. There's a new enemy. There's a new threat. We must break the genetic code. We must save Zion.
This because you probably would know the answer to this before we get back to the subject, because this subject's really important.
Obviously, I'm using you like a therapist today.
Whatever fucking happened to that lawsuit? Remember, there's a lady who wrote a book, and she said that she had submitted that book to those brothers that made The Matrix, and that is the exact same story.
I didn't hear that.
And then it went to court.
Guess. It did go to court?
Yeah, it did go to court. It's really interesting
How
similarities.
Close between what she wrote and the actual thing?
I don't remember, because it was quite a few years ago. But I thought maybe you would know about this. Snopes says it's false. Snopes is a Hillary Clinton shill organization designed to keep the white man down.
Don't get political, man. This is the one place people should run for politics.
It's not even real. It's not real.
It's not false that it's false that she won the large judgment. I guess in 2005 there was a court case, and I guess she never showed up to court for her preliminary hearing.
Maybe they paid her off.
Because she was in the Matrix.
Maybe they paid her off.
Somebody disconnected her and she was fucking trapped and shit. She saw a cat on the way there twice and she was like, fuck.
It's entirely possible that she just got paid. But
that's
the
other option. Like, you know, what was she, how much was she necessarily, was she like, I want half? Or was she like, give me 50 grand, I'll go away? And maybe
it's a good question. But The Matrix obviously is a pretty goddamn big movie. Apparently her story was remarkably close.
I mean, look, and I'm not taking anything away from them or her, but, you know, like, there are archetypes in that story. And like that movie's brilliant.
Of course.
But it's like nobody can really go like, well, I've never seen anything like that before. I mean, it is kind of like, go to the Bible. It's a Jesus story on some level, right? Like, messianic in nature. But if you're talking about these motherfuckers are in big batteries that power a fucking machine that we're all in and plugs in our head, then it gets very, very close.
Isn't that even that concept that of one day we're going to live in some sort of a virtual reality, that's not a new concept. You know, that concept's been explored. Like, do you remember?
Are you watching Westworld?
Oh yeah, God, it's good.
What I'm here to do is to ask some questions of Sophia for you about the Matrix. You've just been given a tremendous amount of information. And just to tell you a little story, to back you up a little bit, back in 1999, many of you in this room woke up, went to the movies that day, you saw The Matrix, first one. When you came home that evening, you had more consciousness than you did when you woke up. What would you do with the information that you were just given if you could expand on that consciousness and have more of a vision, more intuitiveness, more insight, more power to see what you can do in the future. I want to introduce the most tenacious, courageous, conscientious, gregarious person that I know. And she can see, believe it or not, far into the future. You saw a person of that with The Matrix. You were all duped into thinking that it was owned by Warner Brothers and the Wachowskis. That was all a bunch of crap. She owns it, she wrote it, she created it, and you can look it up on the internet and see who owns all the trademarks, all of the copyrights. It is this one.
Wow.
3 years ago, we were in court in Utah, and 2 federal judges verified that she owns everything. So, without any further chit-chat from me, let me introduce you to Sophia Stewart.
I'm going to tell you like Morpheus, welcome to the real world. Because you've been in an illusion for a long time, and, you know, that's how it is in our world. It's very illusionary. A lot of programs. It's what you believe, if you're seeking the truth or you're seeking a lie. But anyway, I want to tell you about the Matrix. As you can see, that is the Matrix 4 poster, Matrix 4 movie coming soon, and I'm talking about with Neo, Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne. That is the real Matrix, not a Marvel story talking about the Matrix, but the real Matrix. And I also want to tell people this new technology that's coming, we're not going to have a lot of time. There's going to be virtual penal systems. A virtual penal system in the future is when Homeland Security and the law enforcement...
Before we go there, I think maybe they want to know, what is the economy going to look like in the future?
Okay, let me tell you what the economy is going to look like after the Matrix. What's going to happen is we're not, like I said before, not going to have all this time anymore. So, like the system that we have now is being bogged down with a lot of money, a lot of problems. So, like the jails and the prison system that you guys are familiar with is too time-consuming. And then, like I said, there's not going to be all this money. It's going to be digital, like what they're talking about now. That's how the economy is going to change. It's going to be a cashless society. But it has to be an honest society of cash flow. But anyway, this is how the world's going to look. Say, for instance, you have motion sensors all over the highways and the freeways. And you're in your car, and all of a sudden, your car wiggles on the road. Well, they're going to send a hologram drone to your car, and he's going to come and he's going to scan your retinal, he's going to scan your body, he's going to read your text message to see if you were texting, he's going to scan your body to see if you were on drugs or anything, and this is how they know if you did something illegal. Then they're going to notify the real cop cars to come and give you a ticket. You're going to have a universal card, a driving license, like a swipe card, but it's everything. It has your information on there. It has your vitals, everything. You know, it's all tied into the system, banking system. So once he takes your swipe card, universal card, it's like a driving license, goes to his scorecard, he has a little computer mounted on there, he'll swipe it, and in one little box will fall open, and your receipt will come out. He'll take the card and your receipt and give it to you, and then you can go on. Because in the future, there will be no more judges, no more juries, no more executioners. This will be on you if you can't behave yourself. Because in the future, what they're going to do is bring you in when you create a violation or commit a felony. They're going to bring you in on a gurney, put a microchip the size of a pinhead in the delicate part of your brain. It's a LoJack, because they're going to take the ankle bracelet from here, this little chip in your brain. They can track you via satellite. So that means that the satellites can actually see where you are if you go to Moscow or New York or to London. They can actually zoom in on you and videotape you committing a crime. So they don't have to take you to court now. They have actual everything on you videotape. Then they're going to send a drone transporter that can pick you up. The drone transporters are going to be bigger in the future. They're little now, but they're going to be major in the future. So they'll send a drone transporter. You won't even hear it. It'll come and it'll be silent. It'll land. It'll open up like a giant claw, suck you in, and sedate you on the way back to Homeland Security. At this point, they'll put you on a gurney and they'll put these virtual laser rings around your body. They may be white or gold. And they will put one around each arm, and this will be activated according to your behavior. So if you go and walking around in the malls and people see these rings around you, this is called a virtual penal system. So if you snatch a purse, it activates the ring cuts your hands off, but it stops you from bleeding.
Now wait. Is this?
Well, this is true. This is real technology, alien technology that's coming. But go ahead,
wait, let's not scare everyone.
Well, it's definitely coming.
Is this
to prepare you?
Is this in your book?
It's in my Matrix 4 book. It's real technology. Homeland Security and the FBI, they got autographed copies of my book because I'm talking about the new technology that's 10 to 15 years ahead. It's coming. That you need to be prepared for. That's why you see movies and you see new technology in the movie, is to shift your consciousness and to help you to adapt to what's coming. But this is very true because you see now they're just on the iceberg, the tip of the iceberg with virtual reality and holograms. But as we go on into the future, this technology is going to become greater. It's going to be a part of your world. You go to Starbucks and you see on television, on a flat screen, that a murder was committed. Well, what happens in the future, it becomes a hologram that surrounds you, and you can actually step into the crime scenes and investigate yourself. You can be a participant. No more someone telling you something. You can actually find out facts on your own. It's going to be a part of our world. So this technology that I'm telling you about is more in details in my book, but it's a reality. It's talking about a wireless engine. Yes, you know about the steam engine, which was driven by water. You know about the gas engine that we have right now, and the Tesla engine is the electrical car, electricity. But I'm talking that in the future, 15 to 20 years, it's going to be a wireless engine with no water, no gas, no fossil fuel, gasoline. It's definitely going to be a vibration where a musical note that you're going to see Morpheus in the Matrix 4 car. It's a Kia commercial that's been running since 2014 to 2013. You can go on YouTube and look at it. Morpheus is blowing a note, which is a vibration, and it starts the engine up. A wireless engine, just like Tesla was talking about, the wireless light bulb. Now, everybody has always laughed at geniuses. This goes way back. They laughed at Henry Ford with the car, the Wright brothers with the airplane, Tesla when he had the wireless light bulb, Apple, Steve Jobs with the iPads and iPhones. But this is what's coming. You don't have to believe me, but this is real technology. But go ahead, what were you going to ask the question?
I forgot. You've already talked about the technology. Tell us, what's in the book? Tell us about your book. Tell us, I know.
Well, I want to tell everybody that the Terminator is the prequels to the Matrix. Prequels mean it's the beginning story of the Matrix, and Sarah Connor is really Neo's mother. And that's right. J.C. John Connors grows up to be Neo in the Matrix. The Matrix is the future part of the work. It's past, present, and future time travel. That's right. Yeah, I know but it's true. Because if you look at the first three Terminators, and the first Terminator, he comes from the future, from his own planet of technology, because they're going to enslave mankind in the future. But they know there is a baby that's going to be born that's going to destroy the machines. So they have to time travel, and that's where you see him coming through a portal, landing naked without shame, because he's a microchip clone cyborg. He doesn't know he's naked because he's a machine. And he's looking for Sarah Connor because she's going to have the baby, the one. That's part of the Oracle's prophecy. So that's why he tries to destroy her. And then when you see the second Terminator, you see the teenager. He's a teenager. He doesn't know consciously who he is and why the Terminator is trying to kill him. Then in the third Terminator, he's a man-child, which he's still asleep. He doesn't know what's going on, but he's hidden out in the city, which is the Matrix. And he becomes a hacker. And he takes on an alias, Thomas Anderson. And he doesn't know who he is until the rebels come and wake him up to his purpose. That's why it's called Reloaded and Revolution, the third one. So, because at 30 years of age, that's when the rebellion or the revolution starts. He goes to Morpheus to learn to fight. He goes to the Oracle for the prophecy. And when you see him going through the pods and everything, his human side dies, and he has ascended into his light body. He's flying, but he's not Superman. He's able to dodge bullets and to touch mirrors in other dimensions. He's able to go into Agent Smith's body and blow him up because he's physical matter, and Agent Smith is a program which is antimatter. And so when matter goes into antimatter, it blows it up.
So why did the second and third movie, Matrix Revolutions and whatever the third one was called, why did they kill off all of the characters?
They killed off the characters because they did not write the Matrix and the Terminator. They did not write it. That's why you haven't seen another Matrix in 14 years. Now, the fourth installment of the book has been out since 2010 for 7 years, selling around the entire globe, around the world. Go right now. You can Google it on Amazon.com, and you can pull it up, and you can put in Sophia Stewart's books, and you'll see the fourth installment. So this is why, because what I had to do in the fourth installment was make 2 and 3 a dream, because I wrote The Evolutions of Consciousness, Man versus the Machines. So all I did was just clean 2 and 3 up, made it a dream state. That Neo and Trinity were having a dream. They are soulmates, and so they wake up and they start talking about their dream, and the saga of the Matrix continue, but greater than the other 3.
So how will that expand the consciousness of us after we've seen the movie and read the book?
Well, for all those who love the Matrix and Terminator, Matrix is not dead. It continues, but greater, just like I said, greater technology. And the technology that I just spoke about is in the Matrix 4. You actually get to see Neo and Morpheus and Trinity experiencing this new technology that I'm describing in real time. Okay? Any questions? Excuse me? I can't understand you. Yes, go right ahead.
How do you know this?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a visionary, a polymathematician, and a visionary. Just like the way these other people like have visualized things and they've created from their visions. You know, we're seers, and a seer is a visionary. It's just like if you had a dream and you saw something so perfectly, and then you start to create it in reality. When I went to school, USC Film School, I have a degree in journalism, a double major in law and psychology. I was studying to be a doctor and a lawyer. But I'm a polymathematician. I was doing taxes when I was 11 years old. I was doing what H&R Block is doing for you guys when I was 11 because a lot of grown people did not understand how to do taxes. And so I scored a 98 on the IRS exam because they wanted me to come and work for them. And I also did not do any high school. I took the New York Regents, went into college, a university, and got the degree. So I'm a polymathematician, the same as Tesla, same as Leonardo da Vinci. Everybody did the same thing when he drew the parachutes, the tanks, the Gatling gun. He had already saw that in the future. He drew it, and it became a reality. A lot of people don't understand visionaries or polymathematicians, but it's just a person well-versed in math. So when you look at the matrix is actually quantum physics, calculus, and sacred ancient geometry. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with some of that math, but some of that math is over certain people's heads. Well, it's okay. Any questions? Yes.
Yes. Sorry, I'm here in the back. Unless you want to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Joshua Earp. It's very nice to meet you. I'm very familiar with these ancient metaphysical, hermetic principles. I used to extract inane dimethyltryptamine, which is the pineal gland, which is the third eye within the brain, that actually is the eye of Horus, hieroglyphically. And my good friend, Dr. Katsushi Arasaka, founded the God particle, the Higgs boson. So he's invented the Large Hadron Collider to try to, discover these ancient hermetic principles, of which that I just recently had the opportunity to be, basically nominated and a part of a Nobel Peace Prize that we're currently rewriting neuroscience. So I would really love to speak with you, and I have a few questions about the singularity and your opinion on a few of those things.
Yeah, I'll be very happy to answer because as you can see with the first book, The Third Eye, see the book, The Pyramids, it's exactly what you're saying. It comes from ancient Egypt, a Kemet, and it talks about the flower of life. Yes, in the third eye, the eye of God, is also referencing that because on earth we have two eyes, and the worship of the almighty dollar, when the corporations, the banks, which are the machines that have you enslaved with programs and illusions. So you were going to ask a question?
Yes, I was going to ask the new technology that's coming.
Yes.
Is it part of the machine or is it part of
Well, it is the technology that can be used for either good or bad.
Okay.
Because that's how it works. A gun is just a gun until someone uses it, and that person could be using it for either good, to go hunt, to eat, or to harm someone.
Okay.
And that's the way the new technology is. It's great, phenomenal technology, but it's how we use it.
Right.
Man uses it. It can destroy man or it can help man.
So the more that our consciousness wakes up to who we really are or what we are, then the possibility to use this technology for good rises.
Exactly. It elevates, because the more our consciousness is shifted and that we can take this technology and use it for good, because you've got to realize that in the future, time is money and money is time. And we don't have time or money to waste. So this is why it's very important that many people understand the technology. When you saw the Minority Report, you didn't laugh. You saw what was coming. And that's what all movies do. And writers, you read their books. A lot of them are before their time. They are geniuses. and they're helping your consciousness to advance. So when this technology comes, you'll be able to accept it, recognize it, and use it. You didn't laugh when you saw the presentations about Bitcoins. Those are digital coins. We're going towards a cashless society, and you need to be prepared for it. Go back into the past. At one time, money was spices. That's right, spices. Then at another time, it was bartering, be like the natives, horses and furs. Then it went on to gold, and you remember that, don't you? Gold, because it comes in your era time. Then after that, it went to paper money. Who knows? Tomorrow it may be rocks. But you need to get used to transformation and time and what it all means to you in the future. Any more questions? Yes.
So I understand the digital currency part. How else do we prepare for this?
All I can tell you is to get books, like we say, get my book, because it's 35 to 40 years ahead of the curve. It's the Matrix 4 book. You can, anybody with your smartphones, droids, can pull it up right now on Amazon.com.
But The Matrix obviously is a pretty goddamn big movie. Apparently her story was remarkably close.
I mean, look, and I'm not taking anything away from them or her, but, you know, like, they're archetypes in that story. And like that movie's brilliant.
Of course.
But it's like nobody can really go like, well, I've never seen anything like that before. I mean, it is kind of like, go to the Bible. It's a Jesus story on some level, right? Like, messianic in nature. But if you're talking about these motherfuckers are in big batteries that power a fucking machine that we're all in and plugs in our head, then it gets very, very close.
Isn't that even that concept that of one day we're going to live in some sort of a virtual reality, that's not a new concept. You know, that concept's been explored. Like, do you remember?
Have you watched? Are you watching Westworld?
Oh yeah. God, it's good.
And Sophia Stewart books, and it'll come up. And you'll see who's on the cover. Keanu Reeves as Neo, Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus, and then, of course, the Terminator, Schwarzenegger as a Terminator, as a clone, and as the machine Terminator is on the cover of the book. And it's the evolutions of consciousness, because it's going to shift your consciousness. It's the fourth installment, The Evolution, which the poster is talking about. Because everything evolves and changes. And these are the new changes or the new evolutions that are coming to our world. Two more questions?
I was greatly impacted by Matrix, sitting in a hotel room, watching it. Well, anyways, I'll talk to you sometime about that. But in the first movie where Neo gets shot and dies in the apartment building, and Trinity obviously brings him back to life. I understand Neo being the one, the son. What is the significance of Trinity having the name Trinity, being
Trinity,
the mother?
Because it's referencing the Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, or the Holy Spirit. That's why when you see in the Matrix, they're referencing Keanu or Neo as my own personal savior. This is a symbolicism, because what I wrote was the second coming of the Christ consciousness, you know, man versus the machines, you know, the evolutions of consciousness. So this is what you're experiencing on 3 different levels. And it's past, present, and future time travel. This is why you would understand it a lot better if you knew that. Go ahead.
Well, what was the significance of the Trinity being embodied in Trinity as a woman?
But more like an angel playing a major role in the background. Because matrix is a Latin word for the woman's womb. It's a 7,000-year-old word that comes from the King James's Bible. And you guys are not aware of that, but you can Google this as I speak. Matrix, like I said, the word is 7,000-year-old. In Exodus 34th chapter, 19th verse, God says, he who opens up the matrix are my children born with souls, including the animals. Because in the future, man would create his own children, which are clones and drones. You know, they will not be born with souls. That's what the Matrix is really about. It's hidden in the woman's womb. The stargate, the portal to bring you into this physical world, comes from the feminine energy of creativity.
And is Morpheus the father figure?
Morpheus is the one. The Christ was the only one called the one. Neo is an anagram, a sneaky way of calling him the one. N-E-O-O-N-E. Neo, one and the same.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, because the anagrams hide the truth from you guys. When you look at anagrams, and let me introduce you to some of the anagrams. When you saw the movie Searching for Nemo, it's an anagram for omen. N-E-M-O is nothing but O-M-E-N, omen. Searching for the omen. There another anagram that you're very familiar with is called evil. Evil is an anagram. The real word is live, L-I-V-E, and what's backwards is E-V-I-L, same word. Genesis in the Bible is an anagram. G-E-N-E-S-I-S is no word. But if you flip it around and you make it into two words, it's nothing but is genes, I-S-G-E-N-E-S. And in Genesis, which is talking about genes, it's talking about two children being born. God's children was already on the earth. And when the Elohim, or the devil, or the angels, or a third of them that fell upon the earth, when they got here and they saw God's children, they said, let us create our own children in our image, mankind, or a kind of man, but not a living soul. The living soul could only be created in the matrix, which is the woman's womb. When you see in the matrix them going up and down the telephone line, their physical bodies are asleep on the ship. That's because God's children are three-dimensional beings. The first body is the astral body, which comes with blood, water, and spirits. The second body is the physical body that you occupy. It's transportation, just like you go get in your car. The mother is eating from the dirt of the earth, which is fruits, food that's grown from the dirt. She's feeding the baby through the umbilical cord, and it takes 9 months or 36 weeks for the second body to be created. The doctor will not perform an abortion at 12 weeks because he's killing a living soul. Because at 12 weeks, the soul, which is vibrations, magnetism, vibrancy, attaches to the physical body at the 12th week. So when the doctor performs an abortion, it's killing a living soul. It's committing murder. But that's why at 11 weeks, they will perform the abortion, because all they're getting rid of is the waste in a woman's body, the blood that is prepared, that goes away when she does not get pregnant. And the women out here, they know what I'm speaking on, and some men who are very familiar with this. Any questions on that? Yes, what is it?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Were you familiar that it's a junction of 39 days when a woman is pregnant? That's whenever the human embryo determines whether it's male or female. Also at the junction of 39 days, that's whenever the mind said that the soul enters the body. Also at 39 days, that is a junction whenever the pineal gland, the third eye, which produces N-dimethyltryptamine, which is produced right whenever we're born, right whenever we dream, and when we die. So were you aware of that?
Well, so you're a very conscious being, but a lot of people are not very conscious about this stuff. They've heard of abortions, they've heard of all this, but there is no doctor, and you need to believe me and ask your doctor to be truthful with you. There is no doctor that can turn a man into a woman. There's two things that are missing. The umbilical cord to feed the baby for 9 months, and the womb, the matrix. The matrix is a stargate, a portal to bring the baby into this world. Once the baby comes out of the womb, it's a hybrid. for 9 months is breathing and eating of the water, and the mother is feeding it through the umbilical cord. If the baby stays into 10 months, the baby in the umbilical cord will disappear in 10 months, the baby will die. That's why the baby has to come out at 9 months, and sometimes a C-section is performed. That is the very reason. Now let me go back to telling you that there are no doctors that can make you into a woman. You're paying him $40,000 to mutilate you. If you cut off your penis, that is where you provide the seeds. If you cut that off, you're Frankenstein, because now you cannot give anything. Everything that God created was created with purpose. Your fingers have a purpose, your heart, everything on you have a purpose. The things that man create here, the physical things, are created to serve a purpose. Like the seats you're sitting in, like the car you drive, like the house you go in, which is sheltered. They serve a purpose, but they have no purpose other than what they serve. So when I go back to telling you that if you go to a doctor and you pay him $40,000, he cannot give you a matrix, a womb, to create, to bring a baby into this world. And a woman cannot be a man even if the doctor removed her womb or matrix. She cannot give any seeds. The whole process of life is the male and the female, the seeds and the egg.
Yes, it's the intellect and the intuition.
Exactly. But why do you guys believe the lie? Why pay somebody $40,000 that cannot undo anything? It makes you a Frankenstein, a monster. What did Frankenstein do when his masters created him? He was a serial killer. He couldn't have any children. He had no soul, no compassion, no love. He didn't understand about killing a child. You see, so that's all that's going on there. Any questions? It's the
right here.
Excuse me?
This is getting really, really deep. I did not expect it, but I like it.
Well, that's because
I loved it. But
I wrote The Matrix and The Terminator. And when you read The Matrix 4 book, it gets even deeper and greater than what I'm speaking on. I'm only just giving a taste of, what I've written, but it's phenomenal work. And believe me, all of Hollywood has read The Matrix 4 book. It's been out for 7 years, since 2010. Warner Brothers offered me $30 million for this script. You think I'm joking? No. Ask them, call them and ask. There's no lie. Because you know what they're going to make whoever gets Matrix 4? $6 billion, $3 billion in pre-ticket sales immediately, because there's 3 to 4 billion fans around the entire world, globally. Another $1 to $3 billion in 3D, because 3D was not even around in 1999 and 2003, 14 years ago. So 3D, where the Matrix jumped off the screen at you, quantum physics. Go ahead, you were going to ask a question?
So, to my perspective, the reason that the Matrix was relatable is because I see that a lot of things they put in front of us are not important. And they put those things in front of us so that we won't pay attention to what's really going on. But
it's
your
the truth. It's a distraction.
You were saying that it's actually like mathematical and hieroglyphic type thing, like literally down to the science and math of them putting an illusion in front of us. So how deep does that get? And if we were all polymathematicians and we could really see what's going on with our
third eye. Well, this is the reason why they don't teach you math in school. They don't teach you math because you create with math. The universal language is mathematics, not words. Words are nothing but symbolism. A is nothing but a 1, an F is nothing but a 5, including musical notes. Musical notes are nothing but numbers and words, numbers, vibrations, energy to create with. So if you understand math, you understand everything I'm saying. You break the codes. You break the encryptions. and you extract the knowledge. But if you don't know math, you will never be a creator. This is why all architects, all inventors, engineers, they create with math. And when they teach you words, words are nothing but spells. That's why you got your butt whipped when you couldn't do your spelling. Because spells cast spells. I'm telling you the truth. You never saw it this way because you're consciously been taught to see it another way. But when you came out of the woman's womb, the mother's womb, into this earth, you had the knowledge of God. You were super smart. But when you went to school, that's where they installed the programs. You learned the witches and the warlocks, anagrams and spells in programs. And you've been indoctrinated in spells all along. Every time you see a billboard, every time you watch the media and read a magazine, newspapers, television, you indoctrinated with spells and programs. And this is why Morpheus told you the Matrix is all around you. You're in an invisible prison that you can't taste or smell or see.
That was my question. If we were actually polymathematicians and we knew that stuff, what would we see? Like, what would the...
You would be able to create the most phenomenal stuff. If you send your kids to school and let them learn math, they would be able to create the most phenomenal stuff. The Bible has the laws of God in it. They're invisible laws. The legal book that lawyers study has the penal codes of God in it. There's 3 books that your kids should know to learn from. That's the math book, the Bible, and the law books. They would be phenomenal if they learn from those 3 books. Because the other books that they're talking about other stuff is just creating illusions and programs and distractions for you guys. But if you want to create, then study math. Because like I told you, the architects build the buildings from a blueprint conceived from math. The engineer builds a car from math. The carpenter builds all kinds of things from mathematics. Any questions?
So you said that this future technology, like a gun, can be used for good or bad. What is the consciousness that has to come up in us to stop it from being used by those same banksters that...
You cannot stop another being from doing a negative or a vicious act. And when people start wars, all you're doing is killing bodies. Because just like the movie Fallen that Denzel Washington was in, evil jumps right out of that dead body into another living body. The real way to destroy evil is with love. Because an act of violence with violence make you the same as the perpetrator. Yes. You become one and the same. It's true. It is the truth. This is why the law says, if your enemy is hating you, love them. Don't hit them, slap them, curse them, kill them. If someone is persecuting you, you need to pray for them because prayers are the most strongest force in the universe. And if somebody is treating you viciously, horribly, horrendous, then you need to kill them with kindness because these laws really work. They were given for a reason. Because all the wars in the world, and there's been numerous of them, and look at the cemeteries, they're full of bodies. But did it stop the wars? Did it stop the violence? Did it stop the ignorance? No. They're just killing bodies. But evil still exists. Because evil is not a physical thing. Evil is an energy that needs to be destroyed with another energy, which is called love, which is the law. Any questions? Any spirit or demon or devil or ghost is not in your physical realm. They need a body to harm your physical body. That's the truth. So if you see something, it doesn't matter. It is not in a body to harm you. You see what I'm saying? Because it has to be in a physical body in order to harm you. You notice that if somebody gets drunk, they are consciously gone. They run and kill a lot of people. They wake up in jail and they're like, well, what happened? You just killed some people. I don't remember it. Remember, they said in the liquor, in the wine, were spirits. Yeah, you heard them. They call them spirits. Why do you think they're calling them spirits? What do you think happens when you're missing and something has took possession of your body and does a lot of harm? And you wake up and you don't have no memory of that.
Well, I saw somebody last night, it was a homeless person, God bless them, but they were obviously on a drug. I don't know what drug they were on.
Well, drugs are gateways. They're portals to let things in on you. The most important thing for you to know is that nothing can cross your threshold unless you invite it in. And how do people invite it in? It's just like the old vampire story, old black and white, when you all have seen it at some point in time, or the new ones. They invited evil into their table, in their home. But the law says evil cannot come in unless you invited it. So what does people do? They do drugs. They go do overabundance of liquor and alcohol. And they lust after flesh. And they start doing all kinds of things that open up portals on you. They dabble in witchcraft. They dabble in things that is beyond them. But these are gateways and doors. And when you practice them and you don't know what you're doing, or you're inviting things in on you. There are lots of people that sleep good every night. They're not bothered by the war. They're not bothered by ISIS. They live happy lives because of their thoughts. Their thoughts. Your thoughts dictate what happens to you here. Your thoughts are what create your happiness or your misfortune. And then the act behind your thought carries it out.